Salute everyone. This is Lawrence D. Adams. What's going on? It is Monday. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat room. We are live right now. Good to see you. Good to see Joe Blas. Good to see Riley. Good to see you guys. Let's get it going today. Let's get it crack-a-lacking today. Let me put this tinker on, put this on right here, and let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to do this. Let's get ready to do this today. Let me change the color today because I wanted to reflect the color. Let's go blue. There we go. I love that. Bam. Salute to everyone. If you're watching, this is the Thinking Class. This is Lawrence D. Adams. We are live today. Let me say something right now to those who are part of the Thinking Class, those who have joined the membership of the Thinking Class. I want to say this to you. Thank you so much who have joined the membership. $3.99, I think is $9.99 and $24.99. Thank you so much for joining it. What you have did this today, because of joining this, we went from 780 to 1080 streaming. That means we streaming at a better quality stream because of your contributions and because your super chats and everything that you're giving. Shout out to you, Cerise. Thank you to everyone who's a member of the Thinking Class. Thank you for those who donate. I want to personally appreciate you and tell you that thank you so much. We are now streaming at 1080. So if you're watching this on a big screen TV, I should look crystal clear. Hey, what's going on, Deliska? It should look crystal clear because we're streaming at a higher quality than we were last week. And that's because of the members, people who it gave, thank you so much, Riley. I appreciate it. Shout out to you even now. Appreciate it right now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Your contributions actually help us to stream at a higher quality. And anything that I get here, I'm going to let you know that anything I get, I automatically put it back into the Thinking Class. You can see I can show you receipts of money I've spent on the Thinking Class. Not only me, but John will spend for the Thinking Class so that we can have a high quality, high content. I think if we're the Thinking Class shouldn't look like some kind of shabby, looking broke down, looking like somebody just started out or whatever the case may be. It should be high quality content, high quality visual, audio. We did the audio last year. Joe Blas, he knows, he was there. We did the audio. We're working on we're streaming at 1080. Almost we almost at 4K, but 1080. So I want to thank all those who joined the membership. Appreciate you, your membership. This is where your money is going so that we can have a better quality stream, so that we can look world class, not someone who just started out. I know everybody has to start somewhere, but we look like we are about what we're doing. You actually see I work on the lights, I work on the shots, good quality camera, so that we can stream at the best. Thank you so much, Deliska. Appreciate you for joining too. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 2 members. This is where your money's going. It ain't pocketing to LDA. It's definitely going right to what we do right here in the Thinking Class. So I want to make sure we emphasize that. And I want to tell you, thank you. We are now streaming at 1080. Let me emphasize that. 1080. So thank you to the new members, Riley, and to Deliska. Thank you, Sharice, for being a member. Thank you. And think about it. $3.99, that's a cup of coffee. Not even a cup of coffee at Starbucks. So what you do actually make a difference in what we do in the class, because we want to bring I want to emphasize that. Many times people get onto let me say this before we get into the teaching. Many times people get on YouTube and whatever, you got to start off where you at. But if you stay at where you at and you never upgrade what you're doing, no matter what you're saying, your message can get lost because they can't hear you or the visual is so jacked up. Or your content is not good. So 3 things: your visual, your audio, and your content has to be all matched up. And if it's not, there is a problem. So as you see, I have been personally working on this every weekend and on my times off. So I want to say that to everyone that's watching. So let's talk about this. And as you see, I got another logo is right there. We got another logo up. So we got several logos that we got going. This is the one of the logos that is up right now. But let's talk about be honest with yourself in the game. Be honest with yourself in the game. Let's talk about that. Let's really digest that. This is just the first day, so we're just getting our feet wet. So I think a lot of times when it comes to the game and we talk about game strategy, I don't care what everybody else is talking about, how they defined it, but we're talking about strategy as a man, because this is a man's channel and women listen in and on, but this is a man's channel. A man must have a strategy. A man must have a strategy on how he's going to get to point A, point B, C, D, and back to where he need to go back to point A. Most men, majority, a lot of them don't have a strategy on how to get to where they need to go. They have not taken the time to sit down and to really process, how do I get to where I want to go? What steps do I need to take? Who needs to come along? Who needs to come along with me on these steps? Who doesn't need to come along? So when we talk about game is not just predicated to just getting women. If you only predicate your game to only getting women, you are short-sighted. Let me say that again. If your game is only predicated to getting women, getting them in bed, laying down, how many numbers you can get, how many panties you got, you miss the whole essence of what game is. Is it part of the game? Yes. But if it's your whole game, you are out of order. Not only out of order, you are missing the true essence of game. Salute, Bernie Else. Good to see you, bro. You're missing the true essence of what game is. Put my hat on for that. You're missing the true essence of what game is. If it's all about, all you thinking about is how can I get? How can I, and it's all about getting women. It's all about getting sex. You missed the whole essence of what game is. Game is much more bigger. What's going on? These nuts, guy, good to see you. Game is much bigger than that. So when we talk about game, I want you to understand game encompasses your business, how you deal with your money, how you deal with your relationship with others, your kids, if you have kids, how you deal with your mother, your father, the lack of, whatever the case may be. That is, how do you join? I don't see the button. There's a join button. You should see a join button on the stream. You should see a join button. Somebody show them how to get to the join button. So how do you effectively become efficient in the game if you are not honest with yourself? How do you become effectively efficient in the game if you are not honest with yourself? Honesty. Let's give a definition, because everybody gonna have a definition of what they mama and what I feel honesty is. Honesty by definition is free of deceit and of truthfulness and sincere. Let me say that again. Free of deceit, untruthfulness, and sincere. So to being honest with yourself, that means you're free from deceit to yourself and untruthfulness. The worst person that you can ever lie to is yourself. Shout out to Tara for joining the new membership. Thank you so much. Shout out to you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Somebody help these nuts get these joined. So the best thing you can do is be honest with yourself. Somebody help these nuts. You need to get the membership. You should see a join button on the side. So the best thing that you can do is to be completely honest with yourself. You can lie to your mama, your cousin, your therapist, your pastor, your teacher, your spouse, your children, whoever else. But at the end of the day, if you lie to yourself, it's only you that you're going to have to deal with. And if we're really honest in the game about life, you realize that most people lie to themselves. Most people lie to themselves. Most people lie to themselves. They do what? They lie to who they are. They look in the mirror and lie, are not honest with themselves. And because they're not honest with themselves, guess what happens? They think that everyone else is lying to them. Let me say that again, because that might have went over your head. What's going on, Sigma? Let me get that. If you caught what I just said, let me know in the chat room. Most people who are not honest with themselves normally have a problem with other people being honest with them. Most people who are not honest with themselves normally have a problem with other people being honest with them. Most people who have a problem with other people lying to them, not telling them the truth, you need to look back in the mirror. Where have you really told the truth to who you are? Have you been secretly lying to yourself about what's really going on in your life? Have you been hiding the truth about who you really are? Have you been secretly living a double life? You live one way in front of this group of people and you live another way in another group of people. Is it that you are not truly honest or authentically who you are? You're not honesty, or you're not completely honest with who you are? Have you been ashamed to be? The reason why you're not honest with yourself is because you are ashamed to be who you are. See, your game ain't gonna work effectively if you are ashamed. Or have you been shamed? Because I've been there. Or have you been shamed that who you are should not be expressed or even put forward? So you never truly become your honest, true self. Have you been shamed? Have you been told, no, you shouldn't be like this? Have you been told that you are a square peg and you need to fit into this circle? And so because you being dishonest with yourself, you conform to fit into the square circle, knowing that you are a square peg. Where have you truly been dishonest just to fit in with the group? Where have you been truly dishonest with yourself when it comes to agreeing when you know secretly you don't agree with what that person said? Where have you been because you want to keep the peace? We talked about confrontation already. So where have you really, really, really doubled down and thought, where have I lied to myself just to save face? Where have I not told the complete truth, but it was the partial truth, but I wasn't being honest? Where have I really dug deep and said, you know what? If I look at my life, I really wasn't honest when it came to how I felt about this individual or this situation. I wasn't honest about what I thought when it comes to this kind of life. See, it's easy to blame the other individual, as we already know, but it's even more sinister and deceitful to deceive your own self. If this is resonating with you, put a 3 in the chat room. Put a 3 in the chat room. Put a 3 in the chat room because y'all are quiet. Participation is always great. Where have you deceived yourself when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex? Where have you really deceived yourself when it comes to how you interact or not been honest with yourself when it comes to how you deal with the opposite sex? Many times when we get deeper and look, we realize that the problem is never, and I mean this, it's never the other individual, is our perception of that other individual. So where have you been lying or not telling the truth with yourself? We're in an age where people thrive on false truths and false narratives. And the worst thing you can do is tell yourself a false narrative and a false story about who you are. What is the myth that you are carrying on the inside that you know ain't the truth? What myth? What have you told? What story have you created in your mind when it comes to the game, say with relationships, when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex? Have you really told yourself that's caused you, oh boy, look at this, right on time, what has caused you to be where you at right now? Jonna, what's going on, bro? Self-deceit can be silent killer, correct? Can you hear me?
Yep.
So yeah, I can hear you good. So where have you deceived your own self when it comes to any aspect of your life? Being honest with yourself first is the first key to actually being free. And what happens is if you deceive yourself, you have an easy time deceiving others. Thank you, the Mac, but there you go. Appreciate you. Good to see you. Oh my God, look at that light. Woo. Light is hot, dog.
Cool, thanks, bro.
So, we're talking about being honest with yourself. And if you do not be honest with yourself, and as I said this earlier, you end up lying you end up being okay. If you're not honest with yourself, what happens is you'll get upset when other people lie to you.
That's true. You know what I was thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it kind of like an adverse thing?
Mm-hmm.
If you are not honest with yourself, it attracts dishonesty towards you.
Oh my God.
And guess what? Would you even be able to recognize it since you're lying to yourself so much? Would you even recognize when somebody's lying to you if you've never been honest with yourself? Oh, I gotta fake it till I make it. I gotta act like I have money so that people will stick around me. I gotta act like I'm all that so that people wanna be my friend. And you know what? The biggest problem with that is the fact that you lying to yourself means the people you're gonna bring around you are gonna have the same false spirit.
Come on, man.
The same charlatan attitude that you portray will be emitted back upon you.
Dude, do you know? Do you realize how powerful that is? When and this is just the first day. This is just the first day. We just before you go into a surgery, you got to wash your hands, you got to get suited up.
Mm-hmm.
We're just washing our hands right now. When you are not honest with yourself, that's powerful. You end up attracting people who are just like you, who are not honest with themselves. Then you get mad. They always lying to me. I always get these ninjas. They're always lying to me. They ain't no good. All these women, they're always trying to get me for my. Could it be? Could it be that it's you that is the problem? Because you're not honest with yourself. Why are you deceiving you?
Yeah, I think we have the biggest problem we have, like the people that you just said that recognize when people are lying to them. Those are people just above the norm because they can see the problem happening to them, but they don't know they're perpetuating it. But I think that there's an even larger group of people that aren't dealing with it at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're festering all this negativity and all this stuff and keeping their life suppressed because they have surrounded themselves with people that literally make them feel comfortable in that dishonesty.
So you're saying, I don't know, that when you're deceiving yourself or not being honest with yourself, you can attract enablers to your dishonesty.
Yeah.
You can attract enablers who will keep your dishonest behavior intact. And what they'll do is, you know what? Yeah, he is wrong. She ain't right. They'll come and agree with you and not tell you the truth and say, you are the problem. Who's in your life enabling your deception that you have with yourself? Who's in your life that's keeping you enabled to your false narrative that you've been giving out to everyone like a business card when it comes to your life? This is the real game. I was just reading Neville's last night, Jono. Thank you so much, Sigma. Right, they sustain each other. I was just reading Neville's last night, just going back over the principles. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important what we're talking about. You end up giving because you deceive yourself. You end up, like you said, attracting other people who lie to themselves or who are not honest with themselves to whatever degree.
When are we going to get to the point when we say, this is the truth about my situation? This is the truth about my personality. When are we going to get to the truth when you say, this is what I need for my well-being? If we can't get to that, then we're going to just keep attracting people that do nothing but give us band-aids, temporary band-aids. You go out, you want somebody to buy you a drink, it's a temporary band-aid. Oh, I got somebody to buy me a drink. But you know what? At that point, was that real happiness? Was that real satisfaction? I don't think so. What it was a temporary, it was a goal push. You know what I'm saying? Kick the goalpost down further so that it could look like there was something achieved. And it's not actual achievement. What it is you're getting levels of comfort. Band-aids and crutches always put in place to stop the obvious from happening, which is where you're supposed to be trying to get happiness and not being temporary fulfilled. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a very good point right there. When you said that, it just triggered at me. When you allow that to happen, is you end up going in a circle and never going straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're constantly in a circle and you never go straight to a certain destination because you're actually stuck because of the deception that you have to yourself, and it causes you to constantly go around a rotation of deception.
Yeah. Imagine you never left the town you live in.
My God.
Imagine if you never went to Atlanta.
Oh,
Imagine if you never went to New York or New Jersey. Would you really have been able to come back to your town with the wisdom and knowledge that you would have had if you would have stayed?
no.
And the reason why I bring up the travel example is because a lot of us stay stuck in the same town and think we're going to be productive. We never really move, so that we never really learn. And what happens is, with the dishonesty we have in ourselves, we actually put ourselves in a situation where we won't grow when we stay in a mode of that same circle you talk about, the circle of misunderstanding, the circle of dishonesty, the circle of circumstance that's judged on pessimism.
Wait a minute. Did you just use that word? Circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first part of it? I remember this back in elementary school.
Circular.
Thank you. You Sigma's right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly it. So your dishonesty to yourself causes you to be in a circular circumstance all the time.
Yeah. Why would you want to be in the same situation? And I know it sounds like we're not even approaching the true subject here, but it has a foundation that we're not paying attention to. Okay? If you are stuck in a loop, you're being dishonest with yourself. Okay? I'll tell you this. If you had a pain, not to bring up your own personal business, you had a pain, right, recently,
Mm-hmm.
the same result, you're going to get the same thing from the same medicine until you go see a doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would the results change until you got somebody on it to help you? Is that correct or not?
You're right. That's exactly what I did. Right.
You're going to get the same. So that's that loop we're talking, right? That same circle, the circle of uncertainty that we keep trying to band-aid it with instead of going to the professional and going to get the answer.
Mm. Mm. So who's in a circular situation and you're now stuck in a loop? You know, you got the music, you got the loop, keeps looping,
Mm-hmm.
keeps looping, keeps looping, keeps looping. And a lot of people never change the song.
It's true. I'm from New York, right? So the subway system is a closed system, right?
Hmm.
These trains travel millions of miles across the life of their use, right? But they'll never leave the 5 boroughs. You see what I'm saying? Isn't
Right.
that a sad existence?
Yeah.
That the only job these things can do is carry people from one destination to another, and these millions of mile travel never got you to Africa, never got you to Europe, never got you to China. You see what I'm saying? Millions of miles. It's only 8,000 miles to the other side of the earth.
Right.
But we will perpetuate an issue based on the fact that we want to keep our motion and our usage in a closed system like the subway system.
Mhm.
Keep all of our actions in a very small, tight a set of actions. Oh, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna go to lunch. I'm gonna go home, and then I'm gonna go back to bed, and then get back up tomorrow and do the same thing. You're in a closed loop. You see what I'm saying?
Mm. And how many people are living in a closed loop? And like you said, the reason why you're living in a closed loop because you have not been honest with yourself. Haven't been. You haven't been honest with yourself. You have not been honest. Like, you know what? It's almost like it's the thing when you see the rat in the box. They go around the rat do the same. They feed, eat, like you said, feed every day, eat every day, and then guess what? Go do what they need to do, eat, and the cycle never ends. They never get out of the box, or they call it the rat race, and actually live their life.
Yeah, it's true. And you want to hear something funny?
What's that?
I know people that have the ant farm syndrome. They will literally put you in a box and watch you running around taking care of stuff.
You seen that this weekend?
Hmm?
In your video.
Wait, what happened?
Gotta send you a video.
Wait, what happened?
I'll send you a video. What you just saying.
Okay.
Your example, I'll send you a video.
No, I'm telling you, I've seen this, and it is frightening. You will literally see people, worker ants or worker bees, like the beehive, working to get, sacrificial sacrificial objects in the farm. They don't care if they die, live. They just got to do their job till the job is done. Meanwhile, they looking at it through a glass. They're like, oh, look what I can make happen. Look what I can make done with my power of influence. You see
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
And the problem with that is that you don't even know you're in the ant farm syndrome sometimes. You don't even know. But some of y'all who are part of these big organizations and you're stuck not stuck, but basically you have agreed to on a salary and benefits and got the comfort of life, don't realize that you're part of a system that was designed to make a larger ant farm work. You see what I'm saying? Some of y'all in the corporate ant farm. Some of y'all are in the civil servant ant farm. Some of y'all are in the church ant farm, and some of y'all are in the healthcare ant farm. Some of you are in the auto ant farm. These are all industries designed to keep things moving. But the reason why the billionaires stay billionaires is because they're watching the ant farm. And if you're honest with yourself, you could have gotten out of the ant farm and become the ant farm holder. We just haven't made a decision to do that yet.
Are you the ant or are you the ant farm holder? Let's be honest with yourself. Shout out to one of the members of the thinking class who I know personally, who said, you know what? They want to get out of the ant farm and do their thing. So in the back end, they've been consulting and say, hey, what do I do with this and this and that? So they have a challenge by Wednesday to have something done. They have the Wednesday to get it done.
And you gotta ask yourself, why did it take somebody outside to kick you in the behind to get you to do something? I was telling my wife the other day, like, you know what? One of the hardest things about being an influencer myself is to influence me.
Right.
It's harder to influence me. It takes more to get me excited about something because I already know my own answers. I already know my own outcomes. So guess what? I'm not fazed by some things that people be really like the fire be lit under them. I'm not fazed by it. I'm looking for even more. My stimulation and endorphins and dopamine gets kicked off by a lot more.
Right. But there lies your ability to be honest. What triggers you, and what stimulates your endorphins to actually work. That's the key right there. That's what triggers that. But if you're not honest with that, guess what's going to happen? I see you moving. That's pretty cool. If you're not honest with it, guess what happens? You're going to allow every external thing to influence you to get you to move instead of you having the internal motivation to say, I got to get this done. Is when you are honest with yourself, you realize I am doing this and it's not fulfilling. I am in a particular relationship or situation, whatever the case, and it's not working. What must I do first with me to kick myself in the butt and say, what do I need to do? I shared yesterday a little bit with some people that didn't know. When I was homeless, know what the thing I was thinking about? How do I get out of this? I don't want to ride the bus all night. I like taking baths several times a day. I like having fresh breath. I like combing my beard. I like to be well shaven. I want to be in the mental place. So I have to be honest, somewhere in me, I created a space for me to be in that place.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing. Life didn't kick you in the behind until you got to that part. You hit a rock bottom so you can bounce up.
Right.
Some people are still on their way down. They don't know what their bottom is.
Right.
Some of you have been failing so hard, you got used to what failure is like. You ain't hit the worst failure you ever had. That's why you haven't bounced back up.
Right. Right. Yeah. They haven't. It's at that point that it should be a turning point inside of you, like a key put into the initial. And he's like, no, let me start this car up and get what's mine. Let me go what's after mine. And I explained to the individual, I said, listen, bro, I got robbed several times. Gunpoint. I got in Atlanta, they broke into my house 2 times. Took my first computer, then took the second one and the webcam. So what I have now, I appreciate it. I take care of it. Not that I didn't take care of the other stuff, but I got a greater grasp on what I do and how I do it. I was doing this almost 10 years ago. I was doing this almost 10 years ago. So I have to be honest. Somewhere in me was creating this situation that said I didn't deserve what I have.
Yeah.
And
it had to be an evolution too, right?
Yes.
It had to be from you before you got to Atlanta. You thought things were on the up and up, and you were going to an optimistic point. But after you got there, you didn't expect these challenges because you thought Atlanta was the promised land, right? Then Atlanta showed you what it needed to learn. You always have to pay penance somewhere. And even when you left there and you got to the next destination, you thought that was the promised land. Then there was more lessons to be learned. And the one thing you have to realize about every place you go on your journey, there's always some more lessons. It's not just paradise. You're not in the desert going in the oasis. You're going to next plateaus. You're going to the next level on the mountain. And guess what? There's still more climbing to do. So don't think you're ever going to stop.
No. Atlanta said, hey, I got something for you. Boom, I'm going to tear your marriage up. Hey, thank you very much. Boom, I'm going to have you living in a like a Motel 6 almost. Boom, I got you. Okay, stay with your cousin. Boom, he got a cat. Achoo, allergic to the cat. Finally, then I was in Atlanta, and I never talked about this. I was in Atlanta where that guy was loose shooting at people. Remember the black guy that got it loose?
Really?
I was in Atlanta. I was down in that area where he was.
Wow.
I was there. I was doing security. So to be honest with yourself first, or to be honest in the game, is so important. And let me be very clear. So you don't think we sitting on some ivory towers and got it all together. No, I'll be the first one to say I was not honest with myself. What's going on, Ted? Good to see you, bro. I'll be the first person to say I was not honest with myself on where I was living, what I was doing, how I was doing it, how I treated people, how I thought. I was not honest with myself. It is at the moment that I begin to be very honest with myself. Like, what you doing, bro? Why are you still going through the same circumstances, circle of return, and there's no results? Why are you still dealing with the same people who are not getting you, there's no help that keeping you in the same place that you're in? I had to look in the mirror, thank you, Edward, and say, what is it in me that's saying I deserve to be in this place and not where I think I should be? What mindset am I holding? And what lie am I holding on to that's not true? And sometimes when it comes to being honest with yourself, sometimes someone planted a lie inside of you. You took a hold of it and it grew inside of you, and it's keeping you what? In your place where you are at. Hey, LDA, Atlanta can be crucial as of lately. I'm in Union City. I know exactly where Union City is. What's in me that I'm holding on to a line that's not serving me? Maybe it was planted to you by a teacher. Maybe it's planted. I remember a teacher planted a lie inside of me in 6th grade. And I took it as my truth. So I had to take responsibility because I could have rejected it. So it's so important to look in the mirror. What lies have someone told you about you that said you couldn't do? Who said it was your color, your gender? What lie has been planted inside of you that's stopping you from moving forward so that you're not honest with yourself? When you are honest and say, you know what this person said or what I'm saying to myself is not the truth of me. It's not the what? It is not the truth of me. When you realize it's not the truth of you, then you can face it and move forward. We just talking. What time is it? Oh yeah, we got a few more minutes and it's time to go. It's not the truth of me. So you got to look honestly in the mirror. You remember we did it last year. We said, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the greatest of them all? If there was a rumble tumble, 5 minutes or less, what did the mirror say? You are, you conceited. Many times we need to look in the mirror because the mirror is looking at you. Remember, when you look at the world becomes your mirror if you don't know the truth about yourself. The world becomes your mirror if you just can't face the truth about yourself. If you want to lie to yourself and not be honest with yourself, the world will bring as we said earlier, will bring everything around you. Like they say, I can tell who you're going to be in 15 or 10 years by the people that you hold counsel with or who you hang out with. So let me say that again. The world will become a mirror to you. So if you want to become greatness, if you want to become to the next level, you need to be honest and look, the mirror that that's being seen out there, I don't like what I'm seeing. What do I need to adjust in me so that I can get to the level I need to be at? When I was in Atlanta, what I would do is I would go to the mall, not Lenox. I would go to, can't think of the name of the mall. It was a high-end mall. And I shared this before. I would go to the high-end mall and I would sit, and I barely had enough money. I would sit there and I would have tea with honey and sit there as if I belong in this space. I would go to Atlanta, go into Atlanta. It's not Piedmont Mall. Can't think of the name of the mall, but it's right across from Lenox. And I would sit there. It's a restaurant that used to have a outside porch where you can eat at. And I would sit there and have tea. I remember this is the time during the time we were connected, John. And I was going through. I would go to our mutual friend would say, go to the mall. I went to the high-end mall with Gucci, Louis, all the top brands. And I would go to this restaurant. Where you want to sit there, sir? I said, I just want tea. I needed to change the environment inside of me so I can see a new environment on the outside of me. So I had to be honest that the environment in me was not right. It was jacked up.
Yeah. Who would have known? Who would have known, right? After all the changes you made, what the evolutionary thought would be who you are today. You see what I'm saying?
Never.
The reason why you have a sense of what happiness for your life really is right now is because of all the times you thought of, oh, wait, I'm mistaking this comfort situation for what I could have. What I really want is my own this. What I really want is my own that. What I really want is my own presence. And you know what? It's not the material things. Don't get that part wrong. It's not the material things. The material things are a result of you making your lifestyle correct. Then the things come. But a lot of you put the things before your lifestyle and you don't really know why you have to keep buying these comfort things because your lifestyle's not set right.
Not at all.
I'm gonna tell you right now, my lifestyle's not set right. And I'm telling you, we are in a position right now where I'm making decisions because I know when you people comfort buy with their items, they comfort buy with their food, they comfort buy by giving to others who don't deserve it. And what they do, they ignore their debt, they ignore their lifestyle, they ignore the fact that they need to have a certain type of minimum connection, they basically live outside of their means, and they haven't addressed the real problem.
No.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a culprit of it. But you know what? I've recognized the change several times in my life. When I had a comfort job at 90 grand a year and, BMW and an Acura and had my house with my then wife with no kids, I thought I had it made. But you know what? Life had something else for me.
Mm-hmm.
Life said, no, bro, you not only going to have that, but you know what? I'm going to put you in charge of making sure non-for-profits get the same benefit that you're getting in the for-profit world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make sure that you own a company. I'm going to make sure that, you know what, you are supposed to have children. So when I was 25 years old, thinking I was living a good life for everything I had, life had something else for me. I was going to end up being a father of 4. I remember a prophet told me, "Listen, you're going to be a father. You're going to be married no matter. Trust me, whether you are in this marriage or not, you're going to be married." And I said, "What? What kind of prophetic word is that?" He said, "Oh, you just got to choose the woman you want to be with."
Mm.
The person
But
said you can have kids or not. You just got to choose the life you want. It's so like if you've seen that movie called The Family Man with Nicolas Cage.
Mhm.
He had a single life. He had the Ferraris and he had the corporate stance, but then he had a glimpse of what his life could be like if he was a father and in a home and had to work a blue collar job or whatever. I think he was a tire salesman or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm just saying, like, he had a glimpse of what his life could be like, and he chose that lifestyle. Sometimes it's not the material things that get you there. Sometimes it's what your purpose is what gets you there. And sometimes it doesn't have a dollar amount on it.
Yeah.
You know, if I told you you had put a zero on every dollar that you have in the bank on right now, some of you it would be a zero on top of $100. Some of you would be a zero on top of $1,000. Some of you would be a zero on top of $10,000. Some of you would be a zero on top of 100,000. Would it actually make you happy though?
Right.
Because if you've already learned to live within the means of that particular income or that particular deposit level, what makes a zero change it? For me, life changing would have to be several zeros. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I'd have to be able to live with myself with those changes. It's not just the change itself.
Right. So that's why it's so important. It's so important as we're just taking the first step and being honest with yourself. Is with being honest with yourself. You said something that's pretty key, Jono. And you said something when you're honest with yourself, you begin to search for your happiness and not your comfort. It's a complete difference. When you begin to be honest with yourself, you begin to search deeper inside of you for your happiness and not your comfort. And what happens is many of us are uncomfortable with really facing the fact of what really makes us happy. So what we do is we lie to ourselves to stay comfortable because our happiness sometimes seems so far out of reach or maybe unrealistic. So you rather stay in the lie of comfortability than have the happiness of your truth of who you really are. So where are you standing at when it comes to being honest with yourself? Honesty means being true, non-deceitful. Not talking, it's a difference from facts, but being completely honest about what is your happiness point. My happiness and Jono's happiness are completely different, and I'm okay with that. But if you're not careful, you're trying to make your happiness the same as somebody else's, and still you're not being honest with yourself. You're still not being honest with yourself because you're trying to match up somebody else's happiness or what they may be, and it never pans out because you're never satisfied with being someone else. What's up, Thinking Class? Good to see you, man. The Renaissance. What's up, class? You can't be honest. You can't be honest with yourself. You won't be honest with others, and others won't be honest with you. You right on the money, right on the money, buddy. So it's imperative as we're talking about being honest in the game. You can't get mad for all those brothers who listening at the women when they lie to you when you ain't been honest with her in the first place. I almost choked on that. You can't be mad. They always lying to me. They ain't telling me the truth, bro. You ain't been
They
honest
don't
with
see the
her.
truth in you. Why would they be encouraged to tell you the truth when they can't see the truth in you?
They can't. They can't do it. They always lying to me, man. See, the real game, like we always talk about, we talking about the real game here. The real game is like, look, babe, this is what it is. Either you with it or you ain't. She has a choice then whether to be with it or to be ain't with it. When you do that, a woman has the ability to make a choice whether she's going to agree or not agree with what you're saying. And you'll be surprised because of your blunt honesty, it actually works in your favor. But you have to first be blunt. You got to be very honest with yourself. This is what you want. That's the real game. That's how it really works. But the problem is, you haven't looked in the mirror and said, mirror, mirror on the wall, and be honest with yourself. I had to be honest with myself. This bring it home. I had to be honest with yourself. When I look back at the streaming I was doing just a year ago, I said, you know what? This is not good. When I started looking at what other people were doing, I said, you know what? This is not good. So I had to really dig deep and say, you know what? How do I change this? Because what I'm doing, I can't hear. I'm using one phone to connect to the next phone, to connect to do this stream. I was using this camera and that. It wasn't looking good. But the moment I began to be honest, say, you know what? And say, John, hey, this ain't good. I got to do something. Guess what happened? The answers begin to show up.
Yeah, it's true. And it's like, and can you imagine? The answers were there. You know why? Because some of the videos we were watching were years old. They didn't just pop up, right? So we had to be honest with ourselves. We were being ignorant to change. We were being ignorant to the future. We were cheating our future selves out of the divinity or the excellence we could have been in at that moment, because we were just being stubborn and ignorant.
Let me say this too. I'm
I can be honest about that.
I'm gonna say something else too, because it happened Friday. And cheap. Let me be honest. I was being cheap. You can't expect something if you don't give nothing.
Yeah, especially to yourself.
Right.
If you don't invest in your own operation, how is anybody supposed to see they're supposed to invest in you?
Right. How are they supposed to? Right. Definitely. I was being cheap. I was like, I'll hold on to some money. Trust me, I'll hold on to some money. But I realized if I don't invest inside of the thinking class, if my blood and sweat is not in the thinking class, how in the heavens do I expect anyone else to give or to even give or even sow or participate in financially with the thinking class if I have not given my blood, tears, and sweat in this? If I have not invested in quality equipment, or if I'm always shoestringing it? No. Friday, I pulled a trigger on something. Thanks to the thinking class, I said, you know what? John said, why you didn't do that? I was like, I don't know. I did. I pushed one button. Boom, it was done.
Mm-hmm.
One button. It was done. But I had to be honest with myself. I was being cheap. I was like, nah, dog. I don't know about that. And it's been what, 2 months since we talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the evolution itself, you know, like the thing I told you I've just picked up, like I was like, why did it take me so long to get that? I done bought how many hundreds of dollars groceries, how many hundreds of dollars of electric bill, hundreds of dollars of a cell phone bill, but I couldn't buy one thing to further a production. You should kick yourself in the behind for that. How many thousands of dollars you spend on your regular everyday? You couldn't just sacrifice 2 outings, like in my case, 2 outings to a restaurant. It would have solved that problem. If I was being ignorant and stubborn toward my future. And then we found that other thing, and that came fast, right? That came like literally a day. I was like, that's got to be God, because that thing's showing up on my day off. I'm gonna be playing with that. And I was doing stuff that they ain't meant to do already. Like, like I was like, whoa, this is fun.
Right. When This is the truth. And we got to walk away. It's 1:30. This is the truth. When you become honest with yourself, your answers begin to knock on your door.
Absolutely. The solution just drops right in your hat.
What's going on, Asia? Yes, it's all about sacrifice, right? When you are honest with yourself, y'all need to write this in the chat room, and we got to go. We hit it tomorrow. When you are honest with yourself, the solutions knock on your door. Dude, that's it. When we talked about that one thing, mine's be here at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah. And if you think about it, if we would have went with the other solution, it would have been too heavy for that next thing. So you start to see the pieces come together, not like a puzzle, but more like Tetris. Like it was meant, you're shaping the way the puzzle's supposed to look by the way you put things in place. Okay? Now, if we had a 5-pound device going on that thing, it wouldn't have worked.
No.
We needed the exact setup we have now in order to make that thing work at that price point. If we wanted to be at a 5-pound price point, it would have been 5 times the price. Actually, maybe 6 times the price. And what I'm telling you is sometimes you don't know why you purchase certain things, or you don't know why your mindset is setting you in a certain direction. But I'm telling you, it all was come together, not because it was a 1,000-piece puzzle and the puzzle ends. No, it's more like Tetris, where you're shaping the puzzle, and the better you put those pieces together, the more pieces you can fit into it. And the longer the puzzle can keep going.
Man, I feel this one today, dude. It would knock on your door. There's no way if we would have got the other item, like you said, it wouldn't have fit on the item that you got and then I'm about to get in the morning.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't
have
worked.
It is. It's working right now. All that stuff got to be plugged in. None of that stuff can be wireless. Right? The other stuff we're talking about don't work wireless. It has to be plugged in. It has to be set up with a certain type of rigging and a certain type of switching, right?
Yep.
This is completely, if we didn't get this system, there's no way it could freely run the way it's running right now. There's no way it could be completely wireless with nothing. I'm talking about no wires. And everything we did was a sum total to get to that point, and it works,
dude.
Like the Matrix says, whatever happened. It couldn't happen any other way.
Correct. When you honest with yourself first, when you're with yourself, the solution be knocking at it knocks. Do you understand? It knocks at your door because it has no. The reason why the solution knocks at your door because there's no what deception in you. There's no lies holding you back. When we were honest about, hey, this is what we're going to use, the solution said Friday, hey, look over here.
And that wasn't months in the making. That was like a 5-minute decision. But you know, when it feels right, you don't have to deliberate. When it feels right, you don't have to ponder and hang over. When it feels right, you don't have to, go check in with 10 people. We looked at each other and was like, why we didn't have this already? And this thing been out for years. And it's interesting because I was looking at this very item 2 months ago at work, looking at all videos about it. And that quick it showed up. When you're honest with yourself, the solution knocks at your door. If anything you got from today's stream, please understand that. When you're honest with yourself, the solution. It's funny who shows up when you're honest with yourself. It's amazing. I can't wait till tomorrow to put it to my mind's into motion. Because it's going to be so. You think we're and let me say this again. Thank you to everyone who gave every cent, dollar, coin to the thinking class. Yeah. It motivates us to do more in production, more in quality, more in content. So we appreciate everything because it shows you appreciate the thinking class and it has a result.
Yeah. Let me say that again. Everything. I promise you, those who join the membership site, yes, I got to start working on the Patreon. So that's coming up next. But I want to. I'm so. Do we, John? I think, do they realize that we have a community here? It's
Absolutely.
it's
I can
it's
see.
so it's. And somebody said something to me today. Shout out to someone said, she said, this is a, I understand, and we gotta go to run. I understand that this is a men's channel, right? It's a men's channel. That's what it's for. But she said, I like coming over here because I get to hear from a man's perspective. Two men who are honest, giving true perspective of what a man thinks. And I said, I never thought about it. You know what I mean? When you're in it, you don't think about what you're doing. You're just doing it. But to hear a woman say about us, we're not bashing women or men. We're gonna hope like I said, everybody get the belt, so ain't nobody exempt from getting the belt. But to hear a woman say, you know what, I like coming over here because I get to hear from two men's perspective on life, relationship, money, kids, and it's refreshing. That to me, that I kid you not, I feel like one of them old people. That sounds like that blessed my heart.
Yeah. And I like the fact that it was communicated to you very clearly. It was, you want to hear from two men's perspective, but not two men that's bashing women. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes it's what wasn't said that was said the most. Okay, there is a perspective here that we all can learn. It's not about men talking down to women. It's about men just being men, or coming from our perspective. I don't know what it's like to come from a man's perspective. I have two daughters, and I can tell you, I still don't know. Okay, I
Right.
can tell you, I got a wife, I had a mother, and sisters, and everything. I got sisters-in-law. Trust me, I still don't know. I still don't know, but I appreciate the experience, because if I didn't have a sister-in-law who cooked in the house and took care of household, I wouldn't have known how important that job role was before I took on a partner. My sister-in-law was 12 years older than me, and I watched as a kid in adolescence going into adulthood how a woman could be respected and taken care of in a household as the person taking care of all household business. So when it came to my turn to see that in my lifestyle, I respected it. I didn't look down on it. I didn't turn it away. Matter of fact, it's a thankless job that deserves more than the salary, because you put in more hours than anybody else would in any 8-hour shift in their job. So hang that stuff up. But see, if we didn't come to that conclusion on our own, we wouldn't have learned it. And that's what some of y'all got to do. Get
Very,
to your own conclusion. Sometimes the experiences that life puts you through, one is to teach you, and two, to teach someone else.
yeah.
Because some people learn by ear, and some of them learn by their, back there.
With it,
Which one are you going to use first?
dairy, yeah. Right. Dude, I'm telling. And she said something else. She says, like, shout out to you, these nuts. The join button is go to Lawrence D. Adams page, and you'll see the join button right there. She said something too. She's like, it's almost like I'm secretly hearing a conversation with two men talk about life.
Yeah.
I said, wow.
That's nicely put.
Yeah. She says, like, I'm hearing a conversation, maybe in a barbershop or wherever, a cigar lounge or whatever, and two men having a conversation about life and hearing how they see it. And she said something that was quite interesting. She said, you know what? Some of the men that I've dealt with didn't communicate it. They were saying that, but the way you two communicate with each other caused me to see what they were really trying to say. Said,
You know what? I know a secret, unless you guys want to hear it.
yeah.
You think they want to hear it?
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you the secret behind some of the best communication in this world. And if you want to hear it, let me know in the chat room.
Put a 2 in the chat room. You want to hear Jono's secret?
There's a secret. There's a secret behind communication. If you want to hear about it, let me know in the chat room.
We ain't gonna do it. Riley's the first one. Oh, thank you, Tara. We need one. We need two more. We're not gonna say it. I'm sorry. Well, for two for John Secret. Nope, we need one more. If not, I'm gonna put them do like there. Okay. I'm about to say we about to cut it off. I'll put the music on in a minute.
The
John,
secret to communication.
Hold on before you say it, I'm gonna put you solo.
The secret to communication is setting aside yourself to get the message across. Set aside your past. Set aside your strife. Set aside your grief, your resentment, everything that you could feel bad about. If you set those things aside, then you can communicate better. Can you imagine that? Look how easy that is. It's not. It shouldn't even be a secret. But what we do is we put all those bad elements in our communication mix, and it comes out garbled. It comes out disgusting. It almost comes out as a dishonest version of ourselves when we're just trying to get to the most honest of ourselves. Get the bad stuff out of your mind when you start to communicate, and you will communicate better. I promise you.
And that being said, join us tomorrow as we continue the conversation, being honest with yourself. Oh, very well put. Should have been that simple, but people master it so hard, right? Tomorrow we're gonna continue the conversation of being honest with yourself. In the game, we understand the game is. I don't care what nobody else define it is. I don't care what the mama say, how people just say in the street, whatever. Somebody said something, and I was listening to him this weekend. We got to get past always looking for the street to define what excellence is or what credit is, what creds are.
Yeah.
When that person said that, I said, wait a minute, bro. Why is it? And I know we got to go. Jesus Christ, I want to go. Let me talk about it tomorrow. Why is it that we got to say, in order for you to be authentified or be authentic, you got to have street creds? I don't need your street creds to prove that I am who I am. That bothers me. That bothers me. Why does that got to be the standard that this is authentic because it's street? Why is it that the book or the men that we are, Jono, why is it that it got to be measured by what the street says and not with who we are being educated, autodidacts?
It's because sometimes when you don't have intelligence to score, you got to use your physicality and your brawn to score. And the only way to prove that ever happens is in the street. Isn't that simple? But why can't we move a little past that and use our intellect? You know, whatever happened to, you know, not saying we all have to have PhDs or anything, but whatever happened to using your street smarts and your education to build a nice, even platform for people to springboard off of? Okay, why did it have to be one or the other? You know, people put up their dukes because they can't open their mouth. That's the problem.
Shout out to Annalena. It's good to see you. She is a longtime moderator. Hey, stop by to show some love. Please hit the like button. She's one of the first moderators, dude. She the real deal. She's down in Alabama. She the real deal. Shout out to you, Annalena. Nothing but love. She held it down when we was looking like who did it and what when it was dark. When this was dark and everything. Annalena, I know you're showing some love. How does the stream look now compared to then? I don't know. We got to go, dude. Annalena,
lightly is different.
Yeah, buzz you like Annalena. Put in the chat room. You remember Annalena, right? Annalena, put in the chat room because I chopped up her lane too. Tell me how it is from then to now. The stream should look completely different. Whole ambiance, the whole camera shots, lighting. She was there when it was, and she supported then. Annalena was there. So, and then two, this is the other thing. This is a man's channel that women listen to. We are two black males that people of all races listen to.
Yeah.
Let's get that straight too. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Only Annalena can say that. She gets the Annalena. We got a few minutes. Annalena, call through. Come. I know you listening on YouTube. Unless you at work today, it's Monday. Normally Monday you should be off. Call through. But yeah, she said, "Look, you're doing your damn thing." But dude, it all come together nicely here. Yes. So I want to make sure we emphasize that this is a man's channel. Two black men talking. We're not stuck on race, color, creed. We're not stuck on gender, but we giving the truth. You think about that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Some channels, that's what they play on is the race card, or they play on the gender card.
Like they play on what gets likes and they play on what gets views, but they're not playing on the truth. It's just a reality that we all hinder and infest on.
All right, cool. It's cool. You're at your folks' house. I'll have to call in another day. No problem. Good to see you. Yeah, we got to hit me on the back end. We got to catch up on it. She had a word, man. God. Anyway, with that being said, we're here tomorrow. We're talking about being honest with yourself, but dude, that bothers me. Everything got to be street creds. If it ain't street creds, it ain't real, bruh. What about results? But with that being said, I ain't even got that song lined up, queued up. Let me get this song lined up. It's outro, right? Outro. You hear me, John?
This tension, a feeling I never was expecting. I don't see the pros, don't know the cons, forget the whys. Do you know why? Triggered inside this situation. Wonder if we maybe were mistaken. Don't wanna talk, don't wanna see, don't wanna feel it. What is left?
Conversation.